from the Vegan Finds, where we're going to take this and turn it into this vegan stuffing. Okay, so I'm asked most often, how do you make a vegan gluten-free stuffing? Because you can find it vegan and you can find it gluten-free, but you can't find it both. So what I've done in the past and what I'm doing this year is I'm making it myself. So I got my bread baguettes. If you can find a gluten-free vegan baguette, doesn't matter who, I'm just happen to be using the my bread. You're going to need 2 onions, some mushrooms, some cranberries, 2 celery stalks, some rub sage, and some no chickenless chicken broth, or you can use veggie stock for this. Alright, so let's get started. I'm going to show you how to prep your bread first. Alright, so I have 2 loaves of bread. I have my oven set at 400 degrees because what we're going to do is we're going to chunk this up, and then we're going to cube it, and then we're actually going to toast it. Now, because it's just me and Stuart, and it's really going to be used for the filling of an acorn squash and not a side dish. I'm going to get this smaller, but if it's just you and you just want bigger chunks, you know, Godspeed. So as you can see, I'm just going to cube it, and I will show you what the smaller chunks look like in a minute. So before I went gluten-free, yeah, we'll tell that story. Before I went gluten-free, I used to actually make my own stuffing all the time, because I found this great bread at Whole Foods that was like this cranberry walnut thing that everybody loved the stuffing. So I would use that. And then I went, gluten-free a couple of years ago because I was, told to. And I was still able to make my stuffing, but it was a little different because I would use the udis, and you don't get the greatest results for using the udis. So then I started using cornbread, which was great and, delicious and amazing, but I had to make the cornbread, I had to dry it out, and then I had to, it was like a project. It was a project. So I decided to start using a vegan baguette, and I actually used the char bread last year. Because, okay, I do all of the cooking for Thanksgiving. People try to help me, and all it does is get me mad. So I do all of the cooking. So I start like a week ahead of time. I know that sounds crazy, right? But maybe not a week ahead of time. I start like 4 days before. And I'm cooking for the entire week until Thursday. But if somebody like tries to come in the kitchen and help me, all I do is get a little perturbed because I have a system, and I go by the rule of, if I don't ask you to bring it, please don't bring it, because I've planned out my menu very, very, very carefully. Okay, so as you can see, we have a nice big pile of breadcrumbs. So we're going to actually just throw these in the oven and toast them until they're nice and crunchy. Okay? So let me get that done, and then I will show you what that looks like. Okay. So I'm actually going to spray these down, believe it or not, with a little nonstick spray. And then I'm going to take some rubbed sage. Okay, well. And I'm going to sprinkle the rubbed sage on it. Okay? That'll give it a little bit of flavor because this bread's kind of very bland. All right? So we're going to pop this in the oven, and I will show you what it looks like when it's all toasted. Hey, can you turn off the light? Okay. So we're going to prep our onions. We're going to prep some onions. We're going to cook the onions. Actually, we're going to cook the mushrooms first. Now, like I said, it's just Stuart and I eating this because we're sticking it in acorn squash. Selena's not a big stuffing fan. Alright, and then I just slice my mushrooms. Last year, I made my own vegan turkey loaf kind of thing because you can't find a gluten-free vegan turkey loaf. So I am going to melt some butter in my pan and get that in there, and then I will show you what's next. Okay, so I'm cooking our mushrooms. You just want to get them, cooked, right? I'm going to add our celery, because the celery is going to take a little while, and our onions. And our mushrooms are beginning to brown, and it's starting to smell good. So I don't like stuffing to just be very, what's the word I'm looking for here? I'm looking for a word. Small bits. That's it. Like, I've never understood how people eat stuffing out of a box. No offense if you do. But, like, I would even doctor that. But to me, you need the, like, a texture to it. Otherwise, it's just eating, like, mush. So, alright, so now that rubbed sage is going to come into play again. Alright, so here's the thing. One of us really likes sage, and the other one's name is Stuart. But like I said, seeing as I'm the one who's cooking it, alright. So I've added our cranberries now. You don't need to cook them long because we're going to use the veggie broth or the chickenless chicken broth, and that'll plump them up. Alright? But that's just about done. And it looks gray because of the lighting. I'm sorry, we're having a lighting situation. Yeah. We're having a lighting situation. Boom! Okay. Not any better, is it?
Is it not better?
No. Okay. So I just checked our breadcrumbs. This is at 15. This is at like 11 minutes. I'm gonna give it till 15, and then I'm gonna take them out. See, what's nice about this recipe is you can do all of these individual things a couple of days before and just keep them separate, and then put everything together the day of. Okay, so here is our done. Okay, some of them are a little bit more done, but that's okay. Shh, we won't tell anybody. Breadcrumb. Sorry. I haven't eaten all day. So, I will show you how to put them together next. Okay, so we're going to finish our stuffing. So, I have our cooked ingredients. Stuart, can you get me a spoon?
Yes.
And we're going to slowly start adding our...
You want a wooden spoon?
Veggie broth.
Or?
Yeah, so I'm using low sodium veggie broth. And you just want to soften up the bread. I know that seems ridiculous because we just toasted the bread, right?
That is ridiculous.
And you're just going to toss the... Alright. And then you're going to put it in a baking dish. And like I said, I didn't make much. Because it's just Stuart and I. And Stuart's actually going to use this in something else.
Right, this recipe can be scaled up.
Right, it can be scaled up. Or, if you're the only one who's gluten-free, you could do what I did for years and just make your own separate food and not let anybody touch it. Now I just make everybody eat what I eat, which is why I don't let anybody help me. Okay, so now we're going to just stick this in a baking dish for a half hour at 350 degrees, but that's what we're not going to do, so I'm going to stop the video here. If you like these kind of recipes, hit the subscribe, leave a comment down below. Turn the notification bell on. Share with your friends. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Vegan Finds. And TikTok, because now we have 2 whole subscribers. And we'll see you next time.